Good day, ladies and gents. I'm Emilio A. Colon Sr., and this is the EC Show coming to you from sunny South Florida. Right now, I'm with my friend, mentor, father figure, man of faith, beautiful family, 2 Division I athletes, one at the University of Arkansas, another one at Samford University. I love your wife, Amber. Beautiful grandbaby, and shout out to your daughter-in-law as well, Jerry Scalzo. Jerry, thank you for joining me. This show is sponsored by Katie Power Greens, our urban farm microgreens company that myself and my kids own. Make sure you go to katiepowergreens.com. We also have for all your pickleball players, no strings attached, pb.com for all your pickleball merch. And as always, you can visit enasiacologne.com for all of your EC Respect merch at enasiacolon.com. Jerry, thank you for joining me.
Oh, my pleasure.
I appreciate it. So Jerry, if you guys don't know, I've known Jerry for over 10 years.
At least.
At least, right?
At least.
He actually had hair back then. So I've known Jerry for a very, very long time. His wife is an amazing person as well. Amber's great. The reason why I wanted to bring Jerry on is because personally for me, I admire you, honestly. I admire everything you do with your family. I admire everything that you do with your faith and how firm you believe in grinding and get into it every day and making it happen and not making excuses. I mean, I think hands down, I take pride in being the first person that responds almost every time to everything that you post on social media. Because in all actuality, a lot of people don't understand or they don't get this. It's not easy. It is not easy. It is a grind. It is hard. You have to take it to the max every day, and you're a person that does that.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Now, I spoke to Nick earlier, like a couple weeks back, and Nick saw the setup and was like, yo, we got to figure out a way to get Jerry on the show. We got to figure a way to get, and I was like, let me get my feet wet first. Let me mess up a couple episodes here, and then we'll invite Jerry. But now I feel a little bit more comfortable, so I feel glad you're here.
No,
of course.
I appreciate it.
But no, I mean, we didn't even have this. This is not scripted. There's no questions. There's no nothing. We're just shooting the shit like 2 grown men, pretty much. So, I mean, more than anything else, I have a few questions myself on how you handle certain things towards I can be able to learn from you to pass it down to my kids. You understand? My daughter's 19. For those that don't know, she goes to Arizona State University. She plays soccer there. And then EJ has this whole thing pretty much set up, as you can see when you walked in. 15 years old, learning from the guys here at the Performing Arts Center, learning from the guys that helped out at Church by the Glades from the beginning of the podcast for us. Shout out to them, Jamil and Cairo, thank you, and Fred as well. But as you can see, EJ pretty much runs this whole place.
Doing a great job.
I mean, he's trying. He likes to go up, if you're not going to be able to see it because of the lights or whatever, but he likes to go up in the catwalk. He goes up there and he starts taking photos. That's like his thing. Like, he likes to do that, and the images are nuts.
Yeah.
They're nuts, Jerry. They're really nuts.
It's a good perspective.
No, of course.
Yeah.
But the first thing I want to discuss is you're killing it on social media. I'm a huge fan. Everything you're doing is straight. And if you guys don't follow him, please follow him at Scalzo Built, right? That's the handle?
Yep.
Scalzo Built. And Jerry gets it in. Jerry talks about motivation. He talks about drive. He talks about making it happen with, you know, the construction industry that you have, your Airbnbs or building Popeyes or whatever it may be. And Jerry he's just a grinder. He's just really a grinder. He's a good follower on social media. So just tell me a little bit about it, because I know you were a little bit late to the game. I mean, obviously your son was amazing on that.
He's been doing it a long time.
Doing it a long time. He took a little bit of a break, but now he's getting back into it. But tell me how you've been able to do a little bit with Nick, and that's been working out, and now you're benefiting off it as well.
You know, it's a funny story because he graduated Christmas. He graduated this December.
Congratulations.
And we were planning on, you know, last summer we talked about rebranding. You know, the construction company is Living Water Construction. We've been building for 25 years. We're into residential properties. We're into Airbnbs. We have the hotel on the beach and a restaurant.
Yes, I'm sorry. I totally forgot about the hotel.
No. But these are the type of products that we have. And, you know, his social presence is great. He understands videoing, he understands marketing, he understands
editing.
Yeah, that's you know, in this society today, 5 years ago, you weren't going to make any money if you were an editor. Today,
Oh, of course.
you start at 150. Yeah,
Easily.
seriously.
Easily.
I mean, these kids that were artists are great, you know. So the long story short, he was supposed to come home in December. We were planning on that. We rebranded with the name Scalzo Built, and we were going to. It's not just encompassing my company, it's our family.
No, of course.
Scalzo Built, you know. What does it take to be a part of our legacy? You know, it's not about me, it's about what the family's going to do. So we were all prepared for him to graduate in December, come home, wrap up his career, and, you know, lo and behold, Thanksgiving comes along, and he sits me down. He says, Dad, I got something to tell you. I go, what's up? He goes, I'm not coming home. I go, what do you mean you're not coming home? He goes, no, I got 2 years eligibility because of my knees. He goes, and they need me, and they want me to start, and they're going to pay for my master's. I'm like, dude, listen, you have your whole life ahead of you. If this is your dream, if this is what you really want to do, then go for it, honestly. Because you've never really been beat out by somebody. It's always been your injury.
Right, of course.
And we're reading this book. It's called Choose Your Enemies Wisely by Pat Bet-David. Highly recommend it, guys.
Try to move this a little bit closer. They're telling me that you need to be closer. Oh, your chain is hitting your chain. So try to move it away from your chain.
We're up. Okay.
Away from it. It's okay. It's stuff that we all go through. It's all right.
Check one. Is that better?
Is it better? Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay. Highly recommend the book.
Okay.
By Pat Bet-David. You know who he is. PBD podcast.
Well, I'll learn it.
He is unbelievable. His first book was Your Next 5 Moves.
Okay.
And his last book is Choose Your Enemies Wisely.
Okay.
And it's about business. It's about your enemies. What is your enemy? Everybody's like, oh, my enemy is that competitor. No, it's not. And your enemy is something that drives you.
Right.
And we were trying to identify, and I said to Nick, I said, so all these years, what has been your enemy? Now, granted, your business is your athletic ability. What you do on the field is your business.
Right, of course.
Your product. And he's like, well, this coach back in 10th grade, 11th grade, when I was in Elite 11, he told me I'll never make it. I wasn't big enough. I wasn't fast enough. And so that's my enemy. I go, Nick, but you've already graduated from that enemy. Think about this. The minute you signed to Kentucky, you proved them all wrong.
Of course.
Okay, so that you got to move on. You graduate from that enemy, and you choose a new enemy.
What's the next one?
And so he goes on to Kentucky, and immediately he's killing it, but then he tears his ACL. Yeah. So he never really got to fully compete.
No, of course.
So
what feels like almost like unfulfillment.
Yes. So now you go through a rehab of 1.5 years, and then you get back on the field, and all of a sudden you're like, I got to go. I got to go someplace because I want to play. I want to start. So he transferred to Stanford. And same time, in this scrimmage before the first game, ACL again. And I said, so Nick, your real enemy, Nick, is not the guy in front, the guy you're challenging for the job. It was your knee. Your injury was your enemy. And a light went off in his head. It's like, oh my, because we're reading this book and it's talking about what fuels you. So remember, being a competitor, it's all about the mind. All about you win the battle in your mind.
Mind,
okay?
mind over matter.
So going into this spring, we spent a lot of time praying, a lot of time really diving into that book and about choosing who your enemy is wisely. And a lot goes back to Brady.
Okay.
Brady's a lot in this book.
Okay.
About what was his enemies. Think about how many enemies he had.
Right.
He was Brady 6. Remember the 200th pick.
Okay.
And so that was his first duel.
Okay. Then he had to beat out Bledsoe.
Yes. Then he gets in. Then he doesn't come off the field. Okay, so he wins a championship. Then it was a couple years before they won another one. Right. They bring in Garoppolo, remember?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden,
thinking about the future.
Then it's like, oh, God, you don't love me? Next enemy. Then you're too old. With the Tampa, your next enemy. But each enemy fueled him for the next championship. Think about that.
It's almost similar to like how MJ made everything personal, right? Like everything was personal. Like you could try to beat him in golf and it was personal.
Yeah.
You beat him in basketball, it was personal. You beat him in cards, it was personal. It seemed like every little step of the way he turned something personal to where it gave him like a little bit of a drive. Yeah.
So he finally realized it's my injury. So now how do you handle that enemy? How do you focus on that enemy? Okay, let me make my knees bulletproof. Let me make sure that I am 100% going to spring. Because the battle's already won. I didn't come here to be a backup. I came here to be the dude.
To play.
So granted, he had to sit for this last 1.5 years watching this other kid start. So now it's his opportunity.
Yes, take advantage.
Got to go out there and got to win the job. And so he goes out there and spring started 2 weeks ago. And he's just absolutely murdering it because he's not playing with an enemy that's the player in front of him.
Right.
He doesn't care about anybody else.
No.
He's playing, I got to protect myself. I got to protect this body. What do I have to do to make sure that I'm healthy, I'm strong, I'm fit? And I'll tell you something, he's just been on fire. And again, it's the book about choosing your enemy. And once you know your enemy, the game's over.
Absolutely.
If you know who your enemy is, you prepare for it.
Yeah, you knock it out of the box.
Yeah, you prepare for it.
So he's ready for spring, and we're praying he stays healthy and everything goes good. Now you have a daughter who's an absolute stud of an athlete, or studette, I would say, of an athlete at University of Arkansas, a gymnast. Now the thing is you're almost like two different parents though, because when you're with Nick and it's football, it's all like yeah, stay focused, whatever, motivate. But when you're with your daughter, you're a clown.
Oh, yeah.
You're doing handstands. You're doing handstands with the team, and the coach is shouting you out because it's like a ritual now. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. For 4 years now, I'm the dad that does the handstands before every meet.
So see, that's the thing with me. So the thing with me is I get to have a lot of fun and shoot the shit with EJ here with the show and everything that we do because he's a lot more time and hands-on. But with Inasia, I feel like I'm more of what you are with Nick.
Yeah.
I'm more of that, the hard one, the motivator, this. And then with EJ, I get to just have a ball, like just have fun and we could just have a good time and stuff like that. But no, it's good. It's good to see that type of stuff. Honestly.
No, honestly, she is just the epitome of solid, consistent. Yeah. And she graduates this May.
Congratulations.
And again, because of COVID, she actually has another year of eligibility.
She can stay if she wants.
And she, but really, she's applied for an amazing internship with SEC Network. So she's waiting on that, and that's kind of her goal because she's a broadcast journalist.
All right.
So that's really.
So we're gonna see on the sidelines maybe one day.
I listen. I wouldn't put anything past that kid. So
that's amazing.
It's But here's the thing: we were there for senior night this Friday, and we're standing there, and it's that night when they bring the parents out on the court, and each there was like 2 seniors, so they put up a screen and the kids don't know this, but they interviewed each player, each teammate, and asked, what are the 3 things? And I'm listening to this, and I'm just bawling. I'm listening to what each person says about my daughter's character and who she was and what she meant to them and the leader she was. And it's like, you think about all the years of developing them and talking to them and all those little things you whisper in their ears that no one knows. Remember this, what you do in private gets applauded in public. Mm-hmm. No one knows about what goes on in private. No. They think it's just, this person's so talented. The work goes in the darkness.
Of course.
To be applauded in the light.
Right, right, of course.
So that's the thing that I'm so proud of her is that it didn't matter that she went 42 meets. She only had 3 falls in 42 meets. 3 falls. That's crazy.
No, of course.
And I'll tell you something. It's just been the epitome of consistency, and watching her coaches just hail her as that leader that binds a team. And she's not an all-arounder. Mm-hmm. She doesn't do all 4 events.
Okay.
She's had some issues with feet, so she's a bars girl.
Right.
And honestly, it's been, last year she had surgery on her elbow, so she couldn't do beam. So she was limited to just the bars, but her biggest attribute wasn't just the bars.
So what kind of, and this is kind of like in a joking manner, what kind of parents are you and Amber when you're watching her in the meet? Are you guys the ones that move in your chair all the time?
I never sit. I'm over there by the bars. Me and Amber don't even sit together. Yeah. Because she just stands, and she's screaming. But I'm over there. I get that line so I can see the handstands. I'm the video guy. And you know what? It's just the one meet we missed this year because we were in a wedding in LSU. It was the first meet in 4 years we missed. And that's the one she fell and almost broke her ribs.
Oh, wow.
It was a bad fall. And it was one I was like, man, we shouldn't have missed that meet. But it's,
it happens.
It happens, and it's part of the journey, know. And I think that was kind of what really led her to, I think this is my last year. Because she never had an injury like that. It was like, oh crap, I'm immortal. Right. When you don't really have falls.
At first she thinks she's invincible, but now she's like, nah.
It's like when a kid tears an ACL. It's like, oh crap, this can happen to me.
Yeah.
You don't realize 3 and 4 years is like, okay, now go buy a lottery ticket because it really shouldn't happen again.
No, it shouldn't. At all. No, absolutely.
Knock on wood, your daughter's healthy. So
thank God.
These are the things that she needs to protect her body. She needs to do the things all season. So when she's in season, bulletproof your knees, knees over toes, all that kind of stuff. They don't realize how important it is.
No, of course not. I mean, we make it to where it's a lifestyle more than anything
else. I watch
it.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
We make it to where it's a lifestyle. It's like, listen, you might get a few days off, but that's about it. Yeah. That's about it. Because the way I explain it to both of my kids, whether we're doing stuff with their merch, stuff with the microgreens company, stuff with, here or whatever it may be with the show, the word work is instilled in my family. Like, if you cut me, most likely that's what's going to come out. Because there's no other way to put it. Whether you're working on friendships, relationships with lovers or significant others, school, sports, whatever, your work with God, whatever it may be, it's always work. It's always work. And you have to sacrifice unknowingly. You don't even know what the result is going to be to get what you want. That's just the truth of the matter at the end of the day.
Listen, successful people, I think there's a term that I use for what really defines a successful person. And honestly, a person that can delay gratification will always be successful.
No, of course, absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is the key.
No, of course.
If someone can delay gratification, they can be successful.
I'll never forget it. God rest his soul, to my father-in-law. I asked him one time, I said, we were at a barbecue, and I said, look, I never really asked for my wife's hand in marriage to you. And he said, you didn't have to. And I said, oh, really? He said, why? And he said, because I saw the potential in you. So in all actuality, it's like he already knew that his daughter would be in good hands with the type of person that I was before I even knew that his daughter would be in good hands. Because, I mean, in the beginning, like, you don't necessarily know. You have all the hopes in the world that you end up doing the right things, and you're the right husband, and you're the right father, and you lead your children on the right path. But in all actuality, along the way, sometimes I think children also forget that we're first times for everything as well. So I'm a first time being a father to my daughter, you know? I'm learning along the way. And then when my son comes along, I'm learning along the way on how to handle dealing with a daughter and now a son. So it's 2 children. So there's a first for everything almost in a sense. You just try to learn off the experiences that you go through to be able to make it better the second time around or later on in life.
Well, remember, you know, you're raising 2 great kids, and the greatest gift you can give them is an amazing marriage. No one really, I mean, the world doesn't tell our kids that.
No.
And if you display a great marriage to your kids, you don't have to worry about their mate. No. You don't have to worry about who they're going to pick, because they usually pick someone like their parents.
Of course.
I look at Dev, she's just like Nick. I mean, just like Amber. And, you know, Jensen has a significant friend now that's getting close, and he's just solid. And, you know, I remember her telling me that it's going to be really hard for me to find, because I really want someone that has your abilities.
Right.
I'm like,
good luck.
I said it's hard. I said in this generation it's hard.
Good luck.
It is really hard.
You're not going to find that.
No, it's hard. And I said, just find someone, you know, he's a baseball player, and, you know, he got drafted in the 3rd round. He's for the Cincinnati Reds.
Congratulations.
And I had breakfast with him a couple months ago, and we were talking. And the minute he told me his dad was his hero, sold me.
Done.
When a kid has that kind of relationship with his parents, that his parents had to, you know, put mortgages to do certain things to get him into those programs.
The sacrifices.
Yeah, he realizes that it was nothing handed to him, and he's one of the hard worker. You know, he's from Arkansas too. So a Texas kid, but I'll tell you something. My kids are going to pick people that are going to be very similar to their parents, because they witness that and they go, okay, that works. I want that.
And it's always, I mean, it's always a little bit different when you have son, daughter, you know? So, like, for example, with EJ, Dad, can I go out with such and such? That's my boy. That's my boy, yeah. What her mama look like? Does your mama look good? Okay, you can go. Have a nice time. But when it's your daughter, you're like, hell no.
Listen, we always say it. Listen, if my son, you know, I die for my son, but I'd kill for my daughter.
No, no, absolutely.
You know, think about that.
Yeah,
I die for my son.
But that's the way it's supposed to be. It's a double standard.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, I've had Inasia come to me in the past and be like, oh, it's not fair. It's not fair. And I have to explain it to her and get her to understand. Like, you will understand one day. You will get it. I promise you. You might not understand it now. But, you know, like, out there in the world, they don't really take.
She's a junior now?
She's a sophomore.
Sophomore.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 years in. She's got this.
They don't really take boys, you know? Those predators out there, they're looking for girls at the end of the day. So you got to be mindful that, obviously, myself and Mama Bear are going to be a lot more protective of you than we are of EJ. Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, we do that with our sons, too. And I was with that with Nick, you know, just very lighthearted. And you're like, boy. But at the end of the day, it's like, it took Nick finally, you know, with Devin to grow up. Right. Honestly, it was one of those, he was Peter Pan. And I asked him the other day, I said, hey, dude, I said, if you can go back, would you? He says, absolutely not. Yeah. He goes, I would not change a thing. He goes, literally, I had to grow up. And some people need that because when you're very talented and gifted, things come kind of easy. You need that notch taken down where you're like, okay, this is what selflessness is like. I had this meme that I sent Nick a couple years ago, and it's a father and a son. It's a silhouette. And you see the son with a square box missing out of his body. Right. And you see the father with a bunch of squares missing and him holding one of them. Like, okay.
What you hear? Yeah.
And it's so relevant to what we do as a dad.
Of course.
You know, until they become that man where now he's like, Dad, I realize being a dad is so self-sacrificing. Thank you. You don't know until you're on the other side.
Absolutely not.
And when you get that moment, and that's going to happen, sooner or later it's going to happen.
Right. It
just makes you go, okay. Right. We're okay. Right. Because it's always like, for years, it was like, I see the phone like,
what now? What now?
Yeah. Okay. What is this call going to be? Yeah. And now it's like, oh, okay, what's going on?
Yeah. Now you want all the information that's come in.
Yeah. You know. So that's growth.
Absolutely.
And honestly, what he's seen, and I think what's really been great about social media, helped with the kids' relationship because you don't have to talk to them every day. but you can actually interact that way.
Right, of course.
I put a video out, he likes it. He puts a video out. So it's kind of like you're still connected, and you could send him stuff or memes, and you don't have to talk every minute of the day.
Right.
But granted, I talk to my kids every day.
As you should.
And they're thousands of miles away.
They only have one lifetime to see you and Amber, and you only have one lifetime to see them.
Yeah.
So I constantly remind my kids, and they get on me. They're like, Dad, you're always talking about it like you're going to die tomorrow. Dude, you never know. When it's your time to go, it is your time to go. And I want to make sure, and I want to be thankful and appreciative that my kids know that they were raised with love and foundation and, everything from me and my wife, and never take anything for granted.
I'm going to give you an example of a perspective that's really going to sit on you. It's like, if I told you in your life, so you're 40?
43.
43, okay.
43 yesterday.
Let's just say 83 is a number that most people, okay? So you got 40 years left, okay? And every year you go on vacation. So that means you get to go to Hawaii 40 more times, and that's it. It's over after 40 times. Okay, wow, it's 40? That's it? Okay. Or another example is like my dad's 82. Let's just say he's got 8 more years left, 90, okay? He's in bad health. So that means 8 years, and I see him every month, okay? That means I only get to see him less than 25 times. Put that into perspective.
No, of course, absolutely.
Now you go, what do you mean only 25 times?
That's it, that's all you got left.
That's it. That's the perspective we have to have, not years.
No, of course. Because that's the misconception that they have. Is like, we have time to do this. No, we don't. No, we don't. Because every day that goes by, every minute that goes by, you're actually losing time. So the key question is, what are you doing inside of that time?
Yeah.
Like, if for anything else, if it's grinding or if it's, sports or if it's school or if it's relationships or if it's marriage, just like anything else, the amount of time that you put in, you will see the reward that you want.
Yes, and start early.
So we discussed our kids.
Yeah.
Let's discuss Scalzo Built, because you are being, like, re-entering social media at such an older age, which is, our age, we're like, what the hell is this?
I'm 53.
What the hell is this? Like, like for me, like in the beginning when I first started using social media, I didn't want to use it.
Right.
I used it because I needed to build a platform for my children because they were too young. And I was like, oh, this is the direction that they're going to go in. So that's how I'm so involved. So how are you getting used to using social media for your businesses and everything that you're doing right now?
What I'm starting to see is that, and I'm not doing it for a business. So for me, I'm doing it because I just said, you know what, I'm going to do this and just let it grow organically.
Right, of course.
I want to be informational. I want to be intentional. And I want to see it grow organically. I'm not trying to do it for income, but I know I have a voice that I want to say things.
You have experiences,
and experiences.
knowledge.
I really think God gives you, you better use it.
Of course.
The talents, He'll take it from you. You know the
course.
guy that buried the one? I don't get it.
No, of course.
So, but I'll tell you, it's hard. It's hard to do the video in the car, and then, I tell you, I have my drone now, and I do all this video, and oh my God, I got to make a video. And
I'm running 4 businesses. I have 75 employees. I've got kids. We travel every week. It's a lot.
Jerry, it is.
It's a lot to juggle, and I got to be disciplined. So I said to myself, be intentional. Get up, do your video, post it now. Don't just leave it in your phone and do it later. Just do it. It doesn't be perfect.
No.
Just put it out there.
It's crazy because the ones that you end up making perfect do absolutely nothing, and then the ones that you don't make perfect actually takes off.
Hey, thank God for CapCut. That's the best thing I ever got was CapCut.
Shout out to CapCut.
CapCut, because I'll tell you, I just go right there and puts the captions in. I'm done. I just send it off.
Right.
And honestly, because Nick was running all that, so I'd video some, I'd send it to Nick, and he's just too busy. Being a dad, being a husband, being a student, being an athlete.
You know what they say too? They say anything that you want done,
just do it yourself.
Just do it yourself.
Just do yourself.
Just do it yourself.
I was like, Nick, don't worry about it. He goes, Dad, it's CapCut. I go, so I downloaded it. It was so friggin' easy to use. It's not that big of a deal. But again, intentional, discipline. And listen, I'm not the poster child for this.
No, of course not.
I do, again.
But you are, right now as we're talking, you are most likely motivating somebody of your age that is kind of questioning whether or not they should be able to do this. And you're sitting there telling them, it's not as bad as you think.
It's not.
No.
It's not hard. It's just you have to be intentional. And the thing is, it'll grow as big as you want to make it. So for me, I'm doing informational for friends, family, new clients. But that's really it. It was going to be something huge. That was the plan with me and Nick, was going to do a TV show, and he was going to follow me around and do literally just a full-on reality show.
Which is still possible. You never know.
A couple of years from now. So I'm in no rush. and God willing. So for us, Scalzo Built is just an acronym of what we do in business, whether it's getting something done that nobody can.
And it's literally the definition of your family if you think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you didn't build those 2 Division I athletes from.
It took a lot of time.
It took a lot of time.
Come on, man.
Of course.
People go, oh, your kids run 4. I'm going to tell you something right now. I could have paid for college twice for the amount of money it cost for the travel, for the gymnastics, for the football.
No.
But guess what? You spent that money and you got the experience. And you got the
Memories. No one understands the
will
memories we all have for all the travel. Think about how much travel you did
Right.
over the years.
Right.
Come on.
Of course.
It doesn't,
100%.
and you'll never forget
I
it.
saw a picture. I think it was when LeBron scored. Yeah, it was when LeBron scored the all-time leading record or whatever it may be. And Phil Knight was the only person sitting in the crowd that did not have his phone out to take a picture. He just soaked in the whole thing. Memory.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with me. I'm not the picture guy when I go watch Inasia or EJ play. I don't do that. I literally I'll just stay in and I'll just watch. Because I just need it all in
burning
here.
your brain.
That's it. That's all I need in here. And even right now, as we're sitting in this beautiful auditorium, by the way, here at the Center for Performing Arts in Coral Springs, there is no one other than the workers and EJ in this crowd. But one day, there'll be a whole bunch of people here to watch us.
I hope so.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
I look at it because...
That's your vision board.
Of course, my vision board.
Yeah.
I started the podcast originally as just us for shooting the shit and having fun. And now, within the 3 years that we've been doing this, including the COVID years, we've turned it into an actual show to promote their brand and a show to give somebody like yourself a platform to be able to tell other people about what they do.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing. I would never, 4 years, you could not tell me I'd be at this moment right now 4 years from now.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, of course. And that's back to what we originally stated, that sometimes you don't even know where you're going. Just do the work.
I tell people that. They go,
Where do I start? Just start.
Yes. First, take the first step.
Just start.
Because if you can't see ahead,
Yeah.
can you see your next step?
No. Listen, here's the thing. When people say, I'm preparing for what? What are you preparing? And they overanalyze, they overthink, and they get paralyzed.
Right.
Being paralyzed, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
They get fear and paralyzed.
I say, here's the deal. You gotta rip the Band-Aid off and just
Start. Fail more.
My wife is
and
like
fail
that
more.
sometimes, Jerry, honestly. She'll want to know every answer to every question. And sometimes I'm the type that I'll be like, yo, we'll just figure it out along the way.
Yes.
And then if that doesn't work, then we know that doesn't work and you go this way.
You ever play games you don't want it to direct, just let's figure it out.
Yeah, of course.
And stop reading the direct, just figure it out.
Yeah, of course.
Do a round, we'll be figured out.
I gotta give a shout out. Uno is the card game.
Yeah.
They came out just recently and said you can't put a draw 2 on top of a draw 2. No. We're putting draw 2s on top of draw 2s. We're sticking to house rules. We don't care about none of that stuff. But no, I mean, in all honesty, like I said, like this place, I mean, it's been a blessing to be here. This is our new home for a while. We're gonna do multiple shows here. We're gonna shoot multiple content, more of things like this. This is the first time I'm doing this as well. But no, I want to be able to have a platform to be able to showcase not only what we do, but what other people in the community is doing as well. Like I said, you're a perfect definition of a man of faith, a man of family. You know, you work your ass off. Everything you've gotten, you've earned. So by all means, anybody that's watching now knows that that's the type of person that I look up to. So I appreciate you. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you. So guys, do me a favor. Make sure you click like, subscribe on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. Follow Scalzo Built on Instagram, correct? Our next episode will be probably like in an hour because we have to shoot something else. And make sure you click like, subscribe on all podcast platforms. KDPowerGreens.com for all your microgreens, no strings attached. PB for all your pickleball merch and for all your brand new merch. Jerry, you have merch too, by the way, at the end of the show. EnasiaCologne.com. ENASIACOLON.com. We'll see you next episode. Take care.
Thank you. See you guys.